You know the saying that people don't buy products, they buy people. That's why ads use celebrities because you already know them and you like them. So, in today's episode of this podcast, From Stress to Success Blueprint, I will be talking about, well, how to build a better relationships or how to even get in a better relationships. That could be for business or in romantic or friends or just have, this better connection that we're all craving for. I will be talking how to fix the fear of vulnerability because let's just face it, if you're not vulnerable with people, they will not be vulnerable with you. That's mean you will not be bonding really. What they say, if you want to build relationships with someone, you say something that you're afraid of. You say something, that maybe something bad happened to you, and or tell them where you were weak, just kind of showing that you're not all the facade and you're not all knowing. Because people they cannot relate to those who know everything and they the best in everything. You're probably already rolling your eyes at me, right? I know. So if you are still here, let's dive into three fixes how to fix that fear of vulnerability. Number one, start small. We always start small no matter what you do. So share your thoughts, share your feelings, but gradually. So let's say you are in a meeting or you're in a party or somewhere where you have a lot of people. And it's a great idea to have in the gathering because best thing is if you see something wrong, this is probably the last time you're going to see them anyway. So you just kind of share your thoughts. And you could be working in a place where there's a lot of coworkers and your employees or whatever. You kind of keep it silent. You always keep it to yourself because, well, if you will be vulnerable, then they will be at you and they will hurt you. So you think, I'm just going to stay away. And even in those meetings, specifically in those meetings that, somebody comes up with a great idea and we should come on Saturday mornings and work extra hours. And nobody wants to say something, but they're like, man, I really don't want to do this. And everybody's silent. And then guess what? And then you come on Saturdays even if you don't want to, because you didn't vocalize what you want. You're well, no, I know. And this is how it works with any interaction with other people. We can talk about preferences and all that, but let's just start small. So you start telling you what you think. And if let's say somebody says, hey, what color of a presentation I should do, green or red? And instead of saying, I don't know, whatever you want, that's okay. You can say, I like red. Red is good. Nobody died. Nobody died. And if they say, no, I don't like red, I'm still going to choose the other color, then it's still mission accomplished because you helped them to come to their own, realization. Anyway, start small. That's what I'm trying to say. Start small, vocalize your preferences, and tell your feelings. You can just say, I'm tired, I'm going to sleep. Or I'm full, I don't want to eat anymore. Or I don't like this restaurant. Can we try something else? Start small. That's it. Because what it shows is that when you start doing something and you see that you're okay, you build that trust with yourself. And I talk a lot about the trust with yourself because when you trust yourself, this means for the future, you will be able to manage any situation in your life because you can trust yourself. So that takes a lot of um, stress management. If you already managing your stress, it may not even come up. How great is that? Okay, so then this is the second fix, is you need to acknowledge your fear. So meaning understand that your past experiences contribute to your fears. So that's why going to therapy is very good to find out, what the things are. Because a lot of times if we have painful experiences in our in our previous lives. I know childhood feels like a total different planet now. You know what I mean? You need to know where you're coming from. I'm not saying you need to get back into that dirt and then make water and make mud and you don't have to play in that sandbox. But if you say, I come from that sandbox, this is good enough. And yes, it takes courage, but it's so worth it. And the easiest way to see, and we're talking about vulnerability now, just ask yourself, how are my parents, my caregivers, my sisters, my brothers, and all of your childhood, were people vulnerable with themselves? Did they say, I like this, I don't like this makes me feel bad, what I heard that makes me feel sad, you hurt me when you said this? And what was the deal when you said something that you wanted, what you didn't like? Especially if you grew up in a family where nobody listened to you at all. Worse, when they were just gaslighting you and saying, no, you're not. It's like, I'm hungry. No, you're not. I'm cold. No, you're not. It's not that cold. Then you will have problem of expressing your vulnerability because you learn from the early age that being vulnerable equals abandonment, punishment, even suffering more. So why to inflict your own pain? The good news, you're an adult now. But if you already started from that environment, you say, I know where I'm coming from, great. Now you can start paying attention what kind of patterns you exhibit, what can you heal, and where you need to move on. And that's what the coaching comes. So if you want one-on-one coaching with me, this is the time to get it, because this weekend only, I'm running a special 30-minute session with me, $99. I never had that price before. Usually it's $299. So of course, all of this is in the link below. Go and grab that session or give to someone else that they're struggling and they can use this as a gift, as a token of appreciation to them, or a gift because you love them. Because after all, February is the month of love. That's what we're talking about, relationships and stress. So you acknowledge your fears. This is really good. And then you're like, well, okay, great, but and then what? I'm kind of still afraid of expressing myself, even if you're saying your preferences. The fix number three, or kind of like a step number three, really. You need to surround yourself with safe people. Be with those who respect and value your openness. And you're like, well, that's kind of difficult. Start finding new people. And start with friends and people that you are in a relationship with right now. And start opening up to them. Like I already said, you start small with the first step. But if you notice that, well, they don't really make you feel good, you don't really feel safe, then there's always so many groups that they will be happy to listen to you. You can find groups in person, and you can have a lot of them online. You can have a therapist, you can have a coach, you can have help. If you want to, it's there. Yes, it takes courage, but just compare yourself. Are you happy now with the way relationships go for you? Do you feel like nobody's listening to you? Do you feel alone and lonely? And you could be living in a humongous family, but if nobody pays attention to you, acknowledges your feelings, validates you, you may feel very super lonely. So you need to find your tribe. You need to start vocalizing yourself. You need to be vulnerable with others. Also, have empathy towards their vulnerability too. It goes both ways. So there's lots of work to do. And if you need my help, you know where to find me. And yes, we'll be talking about stress management and in relationships. So if you have a question, message me and I'll be very happy to answer. And actually, I'll be start doing this. You will be answering questions Sunday. How about that? I just created this. Yeah, because I have already quite a few questions and I really need to answer them. So, my bad.